Hello, welcome back to Real Opinions. We are here in the Ben room, and Harrison's here, and Ben is here. And we are here to review certain films that we have seen at FrightFest, because we've been going to FrightFest. You can say things, you don't have to just nod. And the first one of those films that we saw was Turbo Kid, so we figured Turbo Kid is one of the more larger-than-life ones.
I'd say it's the biggest.
So we figured what better than to review Turbo Kid. So here is a review of Turbo Kid.
Okay, so Turbo Kid is about a kid in
a kid?
Yeah, no, it's like a kid,
Kid
in a post-apocalyptic future that happened. Reasons I don't remember.
It's a dystopian 1997.
Yeah, it's the future, but it's 1997, which was funny.
Yeah,
that was funny. And so he's a kid who just sort of goes around scavenging. He seems to live on his own, and like sells the random crap that he finds to just get a little bit of water to live off of.
Because all the water's been turned to like acid rain and is all poisonous.
Yeah. Along one of his journeys, he comes in contact with a girl called Apple.
Her name's
Apple, and she kind of like forcibly makes friends with him and won't leave him alone. And they go off on a journey together. Meanwhile, there is Michael Ironside, who is Zeus. Am I getting these names right?
Yeah, Zeus is right, but he's basically just like steampunk Odin.
And he's a bad man.
A very bad man.
Who owns and controls all the water and is a bit like a gangster about it. And through various circumstances, they all kind of clash together.
Spectacular, gory fashion.
Yeah. Really gory.
And that's kind of like, again, this movie is almost like the epitome of what FrightFest is.
Yeah.
Because it's so kind of like out there and bizarre, and it's kind of like ridiculously gruesome, but it's ridiculously gruesome in like a really funny way.
In an
like
inventive way. Like, I don't think I've ever seen half of the stuff that's done in this been done before.
Exactly. And
it doesn't just sort of settle for like hacking off limbs and
it
kind of
does
really
these really like, ridiculous, like over the top, and it's all played for laughs as well.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of the best point of it. Although we were saying there are some points where it does take itself a little bit too seriously, maybe.
It's not so much that I think it takes itself too seriously, it just doesn't handle the serious parts as well.
Yeah.
Like, I think the serious parts are kind of necessary because it isn't supposed to be an out-and-out comedy. But it just doesn't handle those serious parts as well as it does the fun, gory, spectacular stuff. Because
it's a very like low budget kind of cheap movie, and you can tell just from the kind of designs of stuff. And at most of the time they kind of play that for laughs.
But there's a couple of times where it looked cheap rather than looking like it was
like an
low rent.
Yeah.
Like when they have the bicycle chases instead of car chases, that's kind of like funny. And there are a few times when it just looks low rent, and they know it does, but there are other times when it feels a little cheap. Yeah. Like some of the explosions.
Definitely. Some of the special effects are a little bit like, whereas you can tell they were trying to be quite serious with them. Yeah. They don't hit home as well as...
Like, I think it's something they could have just avoided. Like, just don't do explosions if you can't afford to do them.
Exactly. Like, having said that though, some of the more low rent effects really work. Like a lot of the designs for the characters, like they're literally made up of just
that
random
stuff works. It's like Mad Max kind of.
It's like Mad Max on a budget of like 50 quid. It's like people walking around, instead of wearing like gimp suits and stuff like that, or like all these like ridiculous leather outfits or these ridiculous kind of like spikes and stuff, they're wearing like football shoulder pads and stuff like that, and they all ride like little BMXs.
Yeah, that stuff. When they know that they don't have much of a budget and they kind of consciously work around it, that works. But the cast are kind of, like, I thought some of the cast were good, but some of them I thought weren't. Like, that was my main problem.
Really?
Some of the acting I felt was like, I know that they're kind of intentionally playing it in a B-movie way, but some of it just felt awkward. Like, Michael Einstein's good. The kid is good. The Turbo Kid is good. The girl, I found her character annoying, but she was good.
She kind of grew on me as the film went on, because she's very, I think part of what her character is she's very forceful, and she's very kind of like, you will be my friend, you are my friend, and that gets a little bit grating at the beginning. Yeah.
She keeps yelling. She reminds, like I said this to you, she reminds me of Balti from Super, but like times 1,000. But yeah, so they were all good. But then there were the people like, I didn't think the arm wrestling guy was that good.
Frederick, the arm wrestler, that's his name.
It's a cool name. Like, he sometimes felt a bit student filmy rather than.
I know what you mean.
Like intentionally playing it. Like it needed someone who maybe was an established name, like
Yeah.
the Michael Ironside kind of thing.
I think it does come across as a bit kind of amateur-y and cheap every now and then.
And not in the way that it wants to.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does in the way it wants to.
It's usually when it's doing the whole plot things.
Yeah.
Because the plot does feel a little bit kind of cobbled together. It's like they had this idea and they needed to kind of throw a plot
Well, like
in
they
there
have like a
somewhere.
major flashback they keep cutting back to, and by the time they finally finish it, it feels like that's a weird time to have
Exactly.
finally shown that.
It's not always 100% clear, especially at the beginning, that it is a flashback. There's nothing they particularly do to make it clear that it's a flashback.
That's true.
It looks literally just like they've cut to another scene, and it is quite kind of distracting.
That's actually there was one point where I wasn't that sure.
Having said that, this film is a total blast.
Yeah.
I haven't had this much fun in a cinema in quite a while.
I think I would have had more fun if everyone else in the cinema wasn't having as much fun. Because they were having too much fun. They were just laughing.
You don't like it when people like things, do you?
They were just laughing at establishing shots and things. It was just like
I think they were just excited.
and people were just going ah! No, but they weren't even like giggling. They were just having manic fits of laughter.
They weren't that
nothing.
bad.
The people behind us were.
They weren't that
It was like Harley Quinn was sat behind us.
The point is, it's a lot of fun.
It is
the
fun.
actual actions. When it kind of,
If you see it alone, it will be a lot of fun.
I think you need to see it with an audience, though. I think you need to kind of get into the whole
People
kind of
ruin
spirit.
things.
You just like being alone, don't you? No, I think it's a lot of. It's because it doesn't take itself too seriously a lot of the time. I mean, there are times when the plot kind of bogs it down a little bit because that's when you start to notice how amateurish it is. Sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
But then when the action and the violence kicks in, you realise that this is made by just people that really like.
Yeah,
films like this.
it was very clearly an affection.
Because it's very like and like you say, the gore in it isn't just kind of like, I cut this guy's head open.
Yeah, they
really go for it. It's there's some really creative ideas in there.
True, yeah.
Like there's a bit where this guy gets cut in half and half of his body ends up on top of someone else.
Yeah.
Which sent the whole theatre into like, I'm pretty
Quite
sure
Monty Python-esque.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure people were like applauding at
They were,
points. Some of the designs of some of the villains, like there's a guy who's Michael Ironside's enforcer.
Yeah, I really like him.
Who is very, very
Kind
cool.
of like the odd job, the Jaws.
Yeah, has like this iron mask and this kind of razor blade thing that shoots out of his arm.
It was his eye. The psycho
Yeah.
eyes. Also, another thing, I really like the soundtrack.
The soundtrack is really cool.
It starts with this really like rocky, like inspirational 80s music song.
Like
It was
hair
just
metal
really,
style, yeah.
Really cool. I like that song. And then they
Yeah.
didn't really do it again, but the score's good.
It's very kind of, it's 80s, but it's not too like, it follows guest synthy, where it's just like, look how 80s and neon we can be. It's like
Those
quite
things.
legitimate. I know they are, but the thing is, so many people are
Yeah.
doing them now. It still feels different.
Yeah.
It feels like it's taking the 80s thing and taking it in a different way.
Yeah.
It's kind of got like a little He-Man vibe to it every now and again.
Yeah, that's
Like
that's
it's more of an old Saturday cartoon rather
Yeah.
than an actual film.
That's a good way of putting it.
Which I really, really liked about it, because that just makes it really fun.
Mm.
And like I say, it doesn't take itself too seriously, so you can just have
That's
fun with
actually
it.
like a really good way of summing it up. It does sort of feel like
Yeah.
like a very violent cartoon.
Cartoon, yeah. Should we do ratings?
Yeah.
I'd probably give it an 8.
Okay, I think I'd go with a high 7 because whilst it did have a lot of fun when it was fun, there were the parts in between those serious parts where I did sort of, I was like laughing and then I kind of go at those points.
Yeah.
Kind of like go
That was the thing.
until
Like,
the next gory thing and I get excited again.
the way I've been talking about it is kind of like Mad Max meets Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, and I know you've never seen Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, but I need to show you because it's got this real kind of like, we know exactly what we're doing and we know exactly what we're spoofing sort of thing. But like you say, every now and again it feels like it does kind of drop it a little bit and forgets every now and then, so it's kind of a bit annoying. I think overall I did just have so much fun with it. I think I struggled to give it anything under an 8 just because I think it's still the best film I've seen at the festival.
I'm a bastard.
You're not a bastard, you're just... Anyway, that's been Turbo Kid. We'll probably have more reviews in a bit because we've seen a lot of films at FrightFest.
3.5 days. Pretty good.
Yeah, another couple to come. So, bye.